fam.news.
Welcome to the Fam Podcast, where today we're tackling a question every retailer should be asking. Are your store hours costing you sales? Brian Morgan, the forward-thinking CEO of Austin Couch Potatoes, is here to share some incredible insights, from analyzing how customers engage with their website after hours to rethinking the traditional 10 to 7 schedule. Brian has a tool that continues to revolutionize how he and his staff communicate with customers day and night. What is it?
Yeah,
Stick around and we're going to reveal it. The Fam Podcast starts right now. Hey, are you a mattress retailer looking to supercharge your business? Introducing Podium, your secret weapon. I use it. I'm a huge fan of it. And with Podium's AI-powered lead conversion, you can engage with customers in seconds via text, making it feel like they're talking to a friend. But hey, that's just the beginning. Podium offers texting, payments, reviews, website chat, and more, all in one place. You've got to be the most responsive retailer to help customers solve those sleep problems in the moment. Harness the power of Podium today and start growing your business. Visit podium.com right now to learn more.
Welcome to the Fam Podcast with Mark Kinsley. This is where the best in the bedding business get even better.
Welcome to the Fam Podcast. I'm so excited to have back on the show. I think it's been like 4 years, Brian, since you've been here. So welcome back, my friend.
Oh my goodness, it's an honor to be here. You look younger, brighter. I can see you on camera. It looks great.
It's just all that good, clean living. That's all.
Yeah, the water where you're at must be amazing.
The water in Bentonville is amazing. Now, okay, if anybody's watching on YouTube, we are both wearing our OG Podium hats. Yours is even older than mine.
Yeah, I mean, they just had a P. I mean, and people always ask, what university is that? And I'm just like, it's Podium. Look it up, podium.com. You know, I live in a little town called Pflugerville that starts with a P. And so everyone thinks, oh, it's Pflugerville. I'm like, sure, go for it, you know. Yeah,
it's called Pflugerville and it starts with a P?
Sweat stains here.
Yeah, I mean, we must, dude, this Podium hat, it's time for an upgrade. You got sweat stains on yours too?
Yeah.
Hey, man, when you're out there trying to share the good news about what Podium has done for so many people in the mattress industry and beyond, you're out there sweating in this hat.
Absolutely.
You're moving.
I love free swag too, man. It's awesome.
Man, I'm so bummed because at Sleep Summit, they had some new Podium hats, and I was like, oh, I got to make sure and grab one of those. And I didn't get the upgraded swag, so we're gonna have to let's talk to Kelly.
Yeah,
and team. Well, actually, so going back in history,
sure.
Back in like COVID times, Podium actually came up because I was asking a friend of mine that ran a store at Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture in Mooresville, North Carolina, Lake Norman area, and I was like, hey, what are you doing to stay engaged with customers? Like, how are you surviving? And they're like, Podium. And so that conversation led to getting to know the Podium people and then introducing me to you. And then I started learning about Austin Couch Potatoes, and we had this great podcast episode. And now here we are, still, banging the Podium drum, still selling mattresses, selling couches. Tell people who don't know about Austin Couch Potatoes your origin story and about yourself.
Yeah, I'd love to share. Yeah, Couch Potatoes is a funny name. We've been around since 2010. And the origin story is this. I initially went to school to be a minister of all things and tried it. I quickly found that I love being an entrepreneur more. I still love God, love serving and helping people, but I found that the greater pulpit for me, per se, is using my business. And when people buy furniture, a lot of times we're their very first friend in town. And I thought, wow, what better way to use my passion of loving people than getting to know them right when they land in town. And that's where furniture came in. I was introduced to furniture while I was in school. I used furniture to help pay for school. I bought and sold salvage items and would list them on Craigslist. And so furniture's always kind of been in the roots for me. But, Couch Potatoes was started in an abandoned bathtub manufacturing plant in 2010. It had no water, no electricity. no gas. And I literally used, excuse me, an SLR camera to take pictures of Macy's return sofas. And then I would list them on Craigslist at the coffee shop down the road. And people would, respond on Craigslist and say, hey, I want that leather couch at $500. How are you getting this? Is it stolen or whatever? I'm like, no, it's not stolen. You're just getting a really good deal. And so then they would come to my little abandoned warehouse. I had a headlamp on top of my hat, and I was literally selling furniture by headlamp in this little abandoned factory warehouse thing. And its roots are really derived in that bootstrap type story you always hear. Like, we literally did everything to make a sale, and I guarantee you all of your listeners have some sort of an origin story, but I don't know if it's that crazy or not. But so since 2010, we've pivoted many times. We've opened retail stores selling the general line of products that everybody else sells that you'd see at High Point, and we've operated in Austin, Texas since then, and we've watched a lot of retailers come and go, and we're still here. And I think the reason is because we've been innovative, and whether it's out of necessity or just the youthfulness of wanting to keep trying and growing. I look back at some of the innovations we've done over the years, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what we're going to talk about today. But, early on, we didn't have air conditioning in our buildings, right? And so here we are, Austin, Texas, 100 plus degrees. And how do I keep this customer on a mattress, when it's 100 plus, or sitting on a leather couch? And don't tell my mom, but we gave out beer. All right. So everyone got a cold beer when they walked in. And you know what? They wouldn't leave until they finished their beer. And so started with that, and have always looked at what's the problem? What's the obstacle in the way? And let's just test different ways to overcome that. And so we've started out really nitty gritty. 2018, we watched 5 local retailers that had been in business for many years, some decades, close their doors. And I said, we're going to be another statistic unless we do something different and innovate. And that's where the manufacturing came in. We literally ordered a sewing machine and a CNC machine, no training whatsoever, just ordered it in, said a prayer, and everything has come together. And since 2018, we have been building our upholstery in Austin, Texas. And there's so many twists and turns, so many lessons we've learned. We've served thousands and thousands of people with couch potato made product. And the heart behind our brand, Couch Potatoes, is not the furniture itself. It's the people. Our mission is to love people and bring comfort and pair those things together. And the people behind the tools many times have had, hard things happen in life. Maybe they were previously incarcerated, or, whatever the course of life could have been. We believe that when you walk across our threshold at Couch Potatoes, whether to work, buy, serve there, whatever, that you're not identified by your past, but who you want to be. So the employee, hey, you're not felon name, it's no, your name is your name, and you have dreams to be a dad or a parent or whatever. And same with our customer. They have dreams to be comfortable. And so we love to just run with that at every angle. And so Couch Potatoes now builds 100% of our upholstery. The last innovative thing that we've done, and forgive me, I'm talking so much, but is we have put the factory inside of a 100,000 square foot retail store. And we did that on August 15th or so, had our grand opening of this new retail store September 1st. And it's been wild. The customer could come in, they can hear hammering, they can see sewing, they can see and hear saws and machines working all behind a safe plexiglass wall where they can see furniture being built from A to Z. And on their side of the glass, they get to see all the favorite parts, the finished, beautiful pieces of furniture that they can choose and, test out. So that's kind of a very fast intro of who we are as a retailer. And now we're so excited to say that we're shipping nationwide as well. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about Couch Potatoes.
Well, congratulations on all the success that you've had so far. And I remember talking to you about that large footprint space.
Yeah.
And I just love this idea of having a factory in the middle of the retail environment. Being from the mattress side of things, I remember I used to travel around and I got to go to mattress manufacturers that had retail attached to it.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to one guy when I was at Leggett and Platt, and they had a retail store out front, and then you walked across a parking lot and they had the factory where they were making mattresses. And I asked him, do people ever go back to the factory? He said, yeah, when we bring them back there, we close 95% of business. I go, why don't you bring everybody to the factory then? He's like, I don't know. We just kind of sometimes bring them back there. So I've always loved that maker studio. And it sounds like you're pulling it off in a big way. What's sort of the reaction that you're getting? What are people saying?
It's a mixed bag, really. I think what the overwhelming response that I've seen is people are blown away that, number one, it's American made, that they see a product from raw materials to finished goods under one roof. They've never really connected the dots to how many steps that it takes and the skill that you have to create something. But then they can also see the quality. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things that we've learned. Hey, when you're on the stage and everyone can see you, it has forced us to bring quality up because, man, everyone can see it. It's kind of like that table in the restaurant where they take you can watch the kitchens doing their thing, and I feel like we live that every day. And the response has been, wow. We've had some people say, oh, wow, it's kind of noisy. And I'm like, yeah, it's part of it, the whole ASMR thing when you're shopping, So we've had to pivot and add more sound deafening foam and stuff like that. So it's been well received, and people love talking about it, and they love, both sides of the glass love seeing each other's interactions. Even from a factory side, when you're an artisan and you might be doing the same step over and over. I'm an upholsterer. And you have a little kiddo looking over the glass or a family, and you just get to put on a show. You're like, man, you do your best work to show them, to maybe inspire them to be a fabricator or designer one day. And I think I love seeing both sides really get a feel from this experience. So yeah, that's it.
I can't wait to make the trip to Austin to see this in action. Can people see it online? I mean, it's something you can look up on your website.
Yeah. And we have some new video coming out too. We have a YouTube channel. You can search Couch Potatoes. You can see video there, but we are constantly making new video. Our dream for 2025 is to kind of have like a cutter cam, where you can see things being done A to Z. And as we add new technology in, I'd love for customers to be able to see their sofa being manufactured from A to Z. So as we're diving into that, we are going to be offering new experiences for everybody, because a lot of people shop online, right? And let's just face the facts. We're going into 25, and we know the most important door is the digital door, right? So
it's where people are starting, and it's where people are finishing a lot of times too, even if they do start in the store. And I think that's one of the things that was very interesting as you were setting up your goals for 2025 and looking at some of the data. You noticed that you were getting a significant amount of customer interaction with your website happening outside of store hours, which your store hours are 10 to 7.
Right.
So what was that little insight there?
Yeah. I mean, it probably was birthed out of, a little bit of frustration of like, goodness, we're staffing these beautiful stores. They look amazing. And the traffic is changing dramatically. And there's so many things that could impact that. One of our stores has major construction going on the highway in front. Well, that's going to impact store foot traffic, or It could be an event, that ties up traffic. And so anyway, as retailers, we do everything we can to make our retail experiences look beautiful. We send the flyers out, we send the emails out or whatever, but the actual foot traffic during the day has changed. I mean, I know in Austin, for instance, all these tech companies said, come back to the office to work. So that freedom that you had during the day to kind of be more fluid with your schedule, it's changed. And I'm a dad of three. I've got three young kids. I cannot imagine trying to go into a brick and mortar store on top of the soccer practices and the school programs and just dinner, right? So let's just face reality. My target customer is, late 20s to mid 40s, and they're busy, right? So we watched store traffic kind of come down, and it hadn't been like that before. And so I just started diving into the analytics of things using different apps through Shopify. And I just began to study, the times we saw from the moment we stopped servicing people, whether by phone or chat or whatever. It was like 7 o'clock till sometimes 1 or 2 in the morning. We saw 40% of our web traffic coming in. And those are the people who were doing more clicks on the website. So more of those micro conversions of like saying, hey, I'm very interested in this sectional. And you can even see how many pages they're clicking. And all we were serving them was a pop-up saying, hey, we're not here right now, or whatever, So looking forward to 25, adding more AI to serve these people when they want to be served is going to be my focus. And I think my wife and I, just it's the holidays now, but I mean, when do we do all of our shopping and research? It's in the evening, kids are in bed. I'm searching on Amazon or I'm searching whatever it is. And so reinforcing the idea that the digital door is the most important door is going to be our focus going to 25. I love the idea of there being a fully staffed sales team 24 hours a day. And I know that Podium is rolling out Jerry, their AI employee. And I don't know, I've been hiring people for decades now in different employment. And I'm like, could you just imagine having an employee to show up to work on time, be available, and work the shift that nobody else wants to shift. No one else wants to work that shift. And I think that's what they're doing. And we're seeing AI develop everywhere. But imagine having consistent information going to your customers. We all know when a chat comes in online or a text comes in or a call comes in, it's one of a few things. It's a service need. It's a sales question. It's where's my stuff, and if you were to put some SOPs, some structure around those conversation points, it's so easy to turn that over to an AI tool to give the same consistent information in a timely manner to all of your potential guests or past customers. It sounds revolutionary, but it's there,
It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
And Jerry, I got to see Jerry early on, and it was functioning in the automotive space. And so anybody that's familiar with the way that generative AI is working, you can tune the models to do certain jobs. I was just talking to a guy that has this business called Presti, and it is using AI to generate room scene images. It's incredible. All you're having to do is type in something, but his model is tuned to allow you to put in a couch, for example, or a mattress. And so it's your silhouetted shot, and then type a few things, and it won't do anything with your input. It'll maintain that integrity, but change the room scene around it. I say all that because number one, I thought it was a really cool tool, Presti. But also it's an example of tuning these models to do something specific. So in our case, you're selling couches with Austin couch potatoes. You want that customer who's interacting with your website between, let's call it 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. What do you want them to do? Well, number one, you want them to get great information, because when somebody's trying to solve a problem, they're trying to solve it now. But number two, you probably want to turn that into a store visit. So you can tune Jerry. Jerry was tuned in the automotive space to drive that foot traffic into the store for a test drive.
There you go.
And you can do it now.
Yeah, it just makes sense. And I think, coming off of a hard year, 2024 had its ups and downs. I feel like we're coming out of it, but it causes you to look in the rearview mirror of like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it this way? And where are the opportunities? And so that's what I'm using this break to do, is just really look at the opportunities and see where the fish are, and I cannot wait to just turn this on. Imagine if you just converted 1% more of the web traffic to take another step. And if you do that math and trickle down, it's wild, because on average, most people are only converting on an online conversion, 2 to 5% mostly. But if you bump that up 1% on a sale online, I mean, it would just drastically change your top line sales and your bottom line, obviously. So I think I can't go back to the first time I used Podium and I thought, well, goodness, there's an expense to this. How am I going to justify this? Whatever. And back then it was just get reviews. And that's what I needed. And then it turned into web chat, and we saw how many more people were willing to engage over a text message instead of a phone, and all done on their platform. And so now having this AI employee or assistant to help us, it's now going to also funnel all of that leads information that's vital for me as a retailer to take action on under the same customer profile. And it's just tying in the loose ends to this beautiful storyline that we can write for the customer and our potential sale. And so anyway, just tying it all in together was also a big plus for me. I think sometimes, I want to kind of wrap up with this too, is that sometimes we get so frustrated with trying to do the same thing over and over again. I'm pushing more ad money in, and we're trying to get this action at the door threshold, right? And I think taking the look at your web traffic and the after hours traffic will just completely wow you, and you might actually be able to reduce your ad budget if you actually were to just convert those who are coming to your website already. And I think that's what I'm already seeing. It's like, I don't need more eyes to my website. I need more interactions. I need more micro conversions. I need more of those appointments booked. So imagine making minor little tweaks on your website that will produce major results. And so that's going to be my whole focus going into this next year. And it has been my focus, and I'm seeing it work already.
That's amazing. And I think your analysis of this really speaks to me, because when you look at your website as a retailer, a lot of people think, oh, for the longest time, especially a lot of independent retailers, my website is there to serve up product information. Well, it's there for that. You want to give people good information when they're making a decision, or they're navigating remodeling a home and furnishing it, or getting a new mattress, or whatever it might be. Good information is critical, but your website has a job to do, and you have to really ask that hard question. Is it doing the job I want it to do? Have I even defined the job that it needs to do? And I think for many people, it's yes, get people started there, but it should be optimized to either transact online or drive that person into the store. Like you said, you've got a lot of these little yeses that are based on clicks they're making. People are saying yes, 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 yes. But did you give them a clear pathway to coming into your store? Yeah. That's where things are going. It sounds like that's where it's going for you too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just connecting the dots. And I can speak from experience too, being in the industry for 15 years, but then other industries as well, is that we're all guilty of having this patchwork of inconsistent or non-communicative tech stacks, right? Well, this tool does this tool does this, my point of sale does this. And what I want to challenge everybody is to work on tying that stuff together. You know, I just imagine if one of your designers or one of your mattress RSAs spends an hour, you know, in a store explaining everything about this mattress, the specs, they fall in love with you, and you forgot to get their phone number or their email or their name or the next step. How do you feel as an owner when you hear that? You're like, oh my gosh, where did they miss the boat? And I think that same attitude of that angst that we have when we hear that happening in a physical sense, take that same attitude and apply it to your website or your technology. Like, oh my goodness, you just spent money to get that person's attention and you have no idea where they came from, what they wanted, what's their next item needed, when are they wanting to buy, and just kind of look at it with that same set of, I don't know, glasses, and look at it collectively like, wow, how can I draw the net on this? Well, let's get our tools talking together. And you might not have the budget to do it, but I bet if you spent a day actually thinking about where your leads come from and just use your team to talk about how they interact on these tools, whatever it might be, and building a standard process for your team to draw the net and to serve that customer better, I think you're going to go into 2025 with a healthy year and a healthy start. And so that's what I'll leave with everybody.
I love that. And I want to put a double red underline there because I remember a guy said one time he was doing sales training and he would ask people that were selling, do you know the moment you lost the sale? And most people would say, yeah, I knew when this happened. The husband turned his back. The wife was kind of like, had her arms crossed. And the sales trainer said, why didn't you do anything about it at that moment? Why didn't you do something about it? And the salesperson would typically say, I didn't know what to do. I've never been trained. I was never told to pay attention to that and engage in a different way in that moment. And I think what you're saying maps to that same sort of issue. Like, have you told your tools and your technology what to do? Have you trained it? Have you created that path forward? So that I love that this is something we can focus on going into 2025. I feel like you always give us like inspiration and action items.
I love it. I don't know why. I think I've been there, you know, where, hey, this is how I feed my family, right? And we're all there. We're all there, yes, to love our customers, but man, whether it's whatever your goals are, I mean, look at it in a fresh way. And I think there's some nuggets in there. And I look at it like a survival type, you know, opportunity. If I'm going to survive, what would you do? And go from there. There's a lot of things competing for our customers' attention right now.
Well, speaking of feeding your family, I know that you promised your kids Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I did. We're going to hit up some Chick-fil-A in a little bit.
We'll have to go out into the world wearing our sweat-stained Podium hats, and we'll just keep working hard and keep turning up the intensity. And hey, if people want to check out Austin Couch Potatoes, how do they do that? Where do they go? Just couchpotatoes.com?
Yeah, couchpotatoes.com. All the socials were there. Would love for you guys just to jump in and follow us. We're constantly evolving. We've got a lot of great video content on YouTube as well. So jump over there, sign up for our e-letter. Hey, if you want a couch, order some swatches online, experience what we do for our customers after the first point of contact. We'd love for you to engage with us and learn and be sharpened as well along the way.
Well, I love that. Thank you, Brian, so much for being on the FAM podcast. And by the way, I am going to be in the market for a new couch pretty soon, and you're going to be my call. I'm going to have myself a couch potato couch in the Kinsley household, and I just got to get those measurements dialed in.
Yeah, would love that. We'd love to serve any of your fans.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for being on the FAM podcast. Once again, welcome back. Have a great 2025. Thank you for the inspiration and the action. Thank you to our friends at Podium for introducing us. We love Podium. We're huge fans. It has brought literally millions of dollars into people's bank accounts and it's allowed them to better serve customers. So we're so thankful for that relationship. And definitely check out podium.com. Brian, thanks for being here. It's great to see you.
Honored to be here, Mark. Take care, man.
make sure and share this with any of your friends out there and your fam. And we'll see you back here every Monday on the Fam Podcast.